Well, I thought I was done until the Switch 2 Direct, but Nintendo just had to confirm exactly how long the Direct would be, and we know for now it is 1 hour long, just about as long as I had expected. Nintendo also announced that there will be 2 Nintendo Treehouses the days following the Direct for gameplay showing Nintendo Switch 2 gameplay of whatever the heck they're going to show off tomorrow. So whatever game they show, they will absolutely go into much more detail within the Nintendo Treehouses, probably showing off games like the new Mario Kart, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, the new 3D Mario game, and perhaps the brand new IP, and maybe even more. And oh my goodness, they just had to give us one more reason to make these final 24 hours as long as possible. Now, before with the Nintendo Switch, we knew the Nintendo Switch presentation would be an extremely large blowout of every single thing about the Switch. Nintendo invited so many people to a live audience. They really wanted to make sure people got the point. This was the new generation. This was the reason to get on board. And for a lot of the business side of things, this is why you need to keep investing in Nintendo. And that ended up being a huge success for both companies and the fans. But now, as I have talked about in many of my previous Switch 2 videos, the fact that this is a Nintendo Direct and not some sort of presentation tells me that they are going to take a more traditional Direct format with this approach. However, I don't think this is going to be a typical Nintendo Direct. They are using the Direct moniker to get that branding out there, to get the people excited, because nothing excites people more than a Nintendo Direct. If they were to say a Nintendo Switch 2 presentation, sure, plenty of people would be excited, but what makes more sense than a Direct for a lot of people? For years now, it has been obviously the biggest thing Nintendo could ever do to give us a Nintendo Direct, and so much hype and so many people talk about Directs, so I really do think they made a good move here by making it a Direct. But I also think this helps set expectations really well. That is my first reason as to why I believe they have said this is going to be an hour. They want us to know how long it is going to be, because typical Directs are about 45 minutes to 40 minutes, sometimes 50 if they have a ton of third-party games to show off. But I think they are very intentional here, with last week's Nintendo Direct for the Switch 1 being about 30 minutes. That's what they announced, roughly 30 minutes. And then for the Switch 2 to be double that roughly amount, for it to be an hour of total information. They also say the word approximately in the tweet, approximately 1 hour long. That is because they want people to understand this is going to be a lot of information, but we want you to know it won't go any longer than an hour. If you're waiting out for work, or if you took some part of the day off, this is how much you have to wait. In an effort to be completely and totally transparent with us, Nintendo has took to Twitter this morning to make sure we know how long it's going to be, and once again reinforce the idea of a Direct, which honestly makes me think my next point here, it has to do with a lot of game reveals. They want us to know this is not just hardware, this is also going to be game reveals, because what are Nintendo Directs? They aren't hardware reveals, they are game reveals. They have to know what the Direct moniker sets expectations for, and they are probably going to meet those expectations. In my predictions, I predicted so many top-tier third-party games to be here, but I think they're going to want to try to focus on first-party games. So, how many first-party games will they show? The Direct, and this being an hour long, makes me think they will show off at least 5 first-party games, and I think 3 to 4 will be completely and totally brand new games. Of course, we will probably see Switch 2 editions like a potential Breath of the Wild edition or Metroid Prime 4 Beyond edition, and we will also see the brand new Mario Kart that we know is confirmed, and that is the only thing we know for sure. Oh, and just in case you missed it in my previous videos or in someone else's videos, Nintendo accidentally slipped up last week. They made it to where Switch 2 editions were in the fine print of the virtual game card trailer on their website, which has led so many people to speculate that Switch 2 edition means Switch 1 games will be enhanced specifically for the console. So we know Switch 2 editions are confirmed. We will see those at this Direct, but we don't know how long they'll spend on it. They will probably show us Breath of the Wild, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Will we see any more? Will it be a highlight sizzle reel of this is a new feature? I don't know. They could spend quite a bit of time on it, showing off each individual game, but I really do think they will probably keep it short and sweet. Mario Kart will probably be one of the biggest things they show off and the longest things they show off. I wouldn't be surprised if this takes up about 5 to 8 minutes. They want to make sure they show us every single thing about this new Mario Kart, why we should get invested, why the 70+ million people that bought Mario Kart 8 Deluxe should get invested in this new Mario Kart. That is something they really have to do to us. They have to show us why it's worth it, especially considering the Switch 2 is backwards compatible. What is stopping anyone from buying a Switch 2 and then just buying Mario Kart 8 Deluxe if this new Mario Kart doesn't look appealing? Especially if there is a Switch 2 edition of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Can you imagine that game looking even better with all of its content day one? Plus, the new 3D Mario game will definitely be there. This is one of the games I have been clamoring for years. It absolutely will be at the Switch 2 Direct, and I cannot wait to see what it looks like. They will probably give us a 3-minute teaser trailer, if that, maybe 2.5 minutes, but I really do think they want to blow out a bunch of information and get us hyped. So this will probably be the equivalent of the January 2017 trailer that Super Mario Odyssey got, in which they didn't show off every single thing about the game. They didn't even tell us what the capture mechanic was at the time, but they revealed the new game for us, and I think that's really all they need to do. Show us off a new trailer, get us really excited for this thing, but don't even get us into the hook yet. Show us a little bit later what that is, because this game will almost certainly be the holiday title. And as far as the rest of the Direct, I really think they're gonna go into the hardware. Not at all like Sony and Microsoft would do it for sure. They are not going to just show us the chips and the specs and talk about all that, but I think they will show us in different ways why it's important and why it's valuable. In the one day left on the Nintendo Today app, they showed us off the mouse functionality on the right side of the screen here. The Switch is in tabletop mode, and then they have the Joy-Con very clearly in a mouse position. This really confirms a lot of leaks and rumors for us to know the Switch 2 will have mouse capabilities. Now obviously this has a ton of implications for hardcore gamers and casual gamers alike, and Nintendo needs to find a very easily accessible, presentable way to show us this information, to tell us why it matters. Obviously PC fans and people who use computers and people who play online shooters will know why it is so important, but for the average consumer, how do we communicate this is an important feature that is worth getting a Switch 2 for? I guarantee you that most of the casual crowd that will end up buying this console doesn't understand day one what a mouse function has anything to do with a Switch 2, or why it's valuable, or how it would even work. And to be honest, for a Nintendo YouTuber myself, I truly don't understand its full capacity, because honestly, if you're playing in bed or if you're playing on the couch, how do you use the mouse function? Do you just have to use it on the armrest? Do you have to use it on your comforter? Like, what? How does that work? Does it work? Am I limited to tabletop mode? I don't know, because I can't truly expect that Nintendo will just say, okay, we have this mouse functionality and it's really cool, and if you put on the strap like we showed you in the Switch 2 reveal trailer, it will make it even easier for you to use this as a mouse, and then you can use it in all these other games, and this is probably some sort of Switch 2 exclusive game they're going to show off with mouse functionality. But why? How? Show us, Nintendo. Make it clear. They will almost certainly reveal some sort of Nintendo exclusive game that has a lot of mouse functionality. Hopefully not something as lame as 1-2 Switch or 1-2 Switch Everybody, but I really think they could incorporate this into other games such as Splatoon or Animal Crossing, because those are Sims and shooter type games. Imagine Stardew Valley on the Switch 2 with mouse controls. I mean, so many games that were built from the ground up on PC can now be completely and totally accessible on the Switch 2, making it somewhat of the ultimate console for Nintendo. So many other companies will want to get in on this action. The indie developers will want to be on there. The third-party companies will want to be on there. The PC players will want to get it. And not to mention, it also captures the entirety of the handheld market, because the Steam Deck cannot hold a candle to this. This is why Xbox and Sony are so interested right now in handheld gaming. Nintendo is making a monopoly of this market, and they have to get into it. The idea of a powerful hybrid console is so captivating to so many people. Imagine playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, or the remake, or Metaphor ReFantazio, not only anywhere you want on your big new powerful system, but on your TV, and with mouse controls, or with a Pro Controller. And that's probably another thing they will show off, is the Pro Controller and other methods of play. I think this is going to be one of the biggest directs ever in terms of hardware and games. Of course, they will also reveal the price to us. They will let us know how much it's going to be, and if it's any more than $450, I think they are making a huge mistake. I am predicting $400 because that has to be the amount they stick with. It just has to be. There has never been a Nintendo console more expensive than $350, and I don't think they want to increase that by $100. Now, what else do the Nintendo Treehouse announcement tell us about the Direct? Well, it tells us they're not going to spend a ton of time on every single game. They're going to keep it that Direct format. They're going to show us a new trailer, maybe talk about it for a little bit, and then move on. They're going to keep a strong pace. How many console reveals in the past have you seen people go on stage and they blab about the console, the power, it's the best one yet, yada yada, and before you know it, it's been 25 minutes and they've not even shown you a single game. Then they show you the first game and the developer comes out and they talk about the game and it's not even that exciting, and then another 15 minutes are gone. Those days are gone for Nintendo and probably for every other company following this model. They will show off a brand new game, they will give it about 5 minutes if that, and then move on. And then the next day, you will get more information on your Nintendo Today app. And then you can go to the Treehouse to see in-depth gameplay and explanation, probably from people explaining the game, but probably also from developers showing off their game, showing off why it's important, why you should buy it. And might I say, the last time there was a big presentation alongside of a big Treehouse, we saw Hollow Knight Silksong, 30 minutes of gameplay for the Nintendo Switch back in 2019. I do think Silksong could make an appearance tomorrow. I don't want to get your hopes up on that, but just know it's a possibility. Have some hope. I also want to go back to the console itself for a minute. They're going to show off the games, and they're going to let the games do the talking for their specs. They're not going to say, obviously, how much power is in this thing. They're just going to show you, and you're going to say, wow, that looks so much better. It's going to be a noticeable difference. But another thing, alongside of the mouse functionality and the new Joy-Con, they're going to show off the hand straps, and they're going to show off the C button. What that C button does is still a mystery, but there have been a lot of rumors lately that it stands for campus, which means it's going to be some sort of community aspect. You press the C button and then you can do some sort of voice chat or something similar to that. Back in December with my predictions video for this year, I had predicted that it wasn't actually a special dedicated button, but that it was a shortcut button in which you could program it to do whatever you want, and every single time you press it, it would take you to wherever you had programmed it to take you. I still don't think that is probably what's going to happen, but it was a unique enough idea that I figured I would just shout it out here anyways and see what happens. They have had many C buttons in the past, one on the GameCube I believe, and then one on the Wii nunchuck controller, so it doesn't necessarily have to be a special button, it just could be another button. But regardless of my speculation, the C button will be fully, completely, and totally explained tomorrow. One of the biggest mysteries of the Switch 2 will be solved tomorrow. As far as other games go, I don't know. I think there will be plenty of first-party games, and honestly, every fan base who is clamoring for their new game could be right. So many people have been wanting Animal Crossing, and I could see it happen. People have wanted Splatoon. I could also see that. Smash Brothers, I could see it, right? There are so many games here that now, if you think about it, oh, it's been such a long generation that it just makes total sense for this game to be coming soon, right? Well, let me slow you down there. Here is the thing, right? With the Nintendo Switch 1, so many people thought the same thing. Oh my gosh, there hasn't been an Animal Crossing in so long. New Leaf was the last actual one. They skipped the main console of the Wii U generation because it was such a flop. There hasn't been a real Animal Crossing in so long. That means we need an Animal Crossing on the Switch yesterday, and it's going to be coming soon, right? And then it didn't come until 2020. Our Smash Brothers game didn't come until the very end of 2018, year 2 of the Switch. And then Luigi's Mansion 3 didn't come until 2019, right? All of these different franchises. And then Metroid Dread didn't come until 2021. We got our first Mario and Luigi game in the final year of the Switch 1's existence, so that probably won't make an appearance either. But so many of these games that people are genuinely justified in saying it's been long enough have to realize this console generation will also be long, and they want to space out these games. This year will be definitely consumed by Mario Kart and 3D Mario and Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, plus whatever else the heck they have to show off here that could be the franchise you are looking for, but it also could not be for another year or two. If I were to tell you that Smash Bros. Doesn't come for another 3 to 4 years, you probably would think I was crazy, right? Well, I honestly think that's about as long as it's going to take for our new Smash. I don't think we'll see it for another 2 years, and I don't think we'll have it for another 3 to 4. It will be a while before we get our next Smash game because I think Sakurai is working on a different game. It could be Smash. That is cool. I really do hope that is Smash, but if it's not, he's going to want to actually develop the next Smash from the ground up, and it's going to look phenomenal. But for now, Ultimate suffices, doesn't it? A Switch 2 edition of Ultimate would be phenomenal. With all of that DLC included, could also be very cool. I think Smash won't be there for a while. Maybe Animal Crossing could be there, but my point is, keep your expectations in check because so many of these franchises were games that people thought way back in 2017, yes, it's coming within the first year or at least the first couple years, right? And then it just didn't because Nintendo has to be strategic and they have to space out these games. It could very well be likely we see no Kirby game or a big new 3D Kirby game. We could see a new Donkey Kong or not. There are so many things we could see, so hold on to hope that we do see it, but if we don't, no, it's very possible that you won't see that franchise for another year or two. There have also been tons and tons of rumors regarding when the pre-orders will go live for the Switch 2, and many people have said that they will go live right after the presentation tomorrow. So make sure if you want to get yourself a pre-order of the Nintendo Switch 2, you have your tabs open with Nintendo's official website, signed in with your official account, because I believe that will be the best way to get your Nintendo Switch 2. Now, why do I say that will be the best way to get a Switch 2? Well, it's because back in October, Alarmo was surprise revealed to us, and then obviously right after its reveal, it only took a couple of hours, if even that, for the Nintendo official website to sell these to people with Nintendo accounts. I personally believe they were testing out this system just to see how it would work, to see if people would want to crash their website by getting all that traffic, how it would work to have to sign in with your account and then purchase it, because that makes things a lot smoother. It makes it to where scalpers can't just get a bunch of bots on that website. It makes it to where they would have to at least have a Nintendo account to then purchase your console or your piece of hardware, in this case with Alarmo. And so I truly do think that will be the best way for you to get a Switch 2 is to have it open the day of, because I'm sure they will announce pre-orders going live at that direct, or at least a week after, because some people have also thrown out April 9th as the day. But it could be very well tomorrow as well, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was, to try to catch those scalpers off guard and just to do their best to get the actual gamers a Switch 2. Because most of the people who actually want a console will be watching this direct live, which means they probably have the best chance of getting a Switch 2 right after it. And Nintendo knows the loyal fan base will be the people who are watching this direct. The people who really, really want these Switch 2s will be watching, so that means they have to have a pre-order set up for right after, or just for a few hours afterwards. I'm sure they'll announce a date or a time. Who knows how it works, but I just want you to know that is what's happening. So that is about everything I can think of to cover that all of this new information gives us, and I just wanted to keep you guys informed. So this will probably be a quick, low edited video just so I can get it out there and you guys can understand what's going on and just know this is what's happening before tomorrow. Also, let me take a second to thank you so much for the immense support you have shown me lately. My channel has kind of been blowing up within the past couple of days, particularly with my new video on the Switch 2 and just waiting for how long it's going to be. We have been waiting for so long, and you guys listened to my story, and so many people commented, so many people left heartwarming comments, and I love you all and just thank you for sticking around. Here is to an amazing generation. Let's have a phenomenal time tomorrow, and I can't wait to make a ton of videos about whatever the heck happens. So make sure if you like this video, you like it, because that is how you express to YouTube and myself that this was a good video. Also, make sure you subscribe if you have not. I will be keeping you completely and totally updated every single step along the way for the Nintendo Switch 2 and for all of these information. Click the notification bell so you know when emergency videos just like this one go live, and consider joining my membership program if you want to support me as an individual and the channel at large. You get early access to videos, Discord servers, and badges next to your name when you comment. If you want about an hour to pass before the Switch 2 Direct, make sure you watch my Mario Kart video ranking every single track on on the left side of your screen, and if you want to see more videos on the Switch 2, click my playlist on the right side of the screen. Thank you so much once again. You are phenomenal. I appreciate you so much. Have yourself a phenomenal day. My name is Ray. This has been Ray's Nintendo Talk, and I will see you all tomorrow for the Switch 2 Direct.